Hey folks, today we're going to be looking at two concepts. First off, how to do a very simple estimation where we're just counting things. And secondly, why we should connect through the internet instead of connecting to a local Excel file. Let's look at the problem and do things the wrong way at first, and then we'll do it the right way. I'm using the model from Bimguru, so thank you Bimguru for letting us use your enhanced sample model. And the thing is, Bimguru has added these codes in here. So this is what we're going to be using for our estimation. Now, when you use estimation, you want to make sure, obviously, the codes are unique and they're properly entered in all of the families, right? So just add a parameter and then your estimators can look at that parameter and know how things are classified, whether it's uniformat, master format, whatever have you. So actually what I've done for this is I've combined the Bimguru data code 1 and code 2. So JBen01 benches in kitchen, we can see here it has been promoted and merged together. So if you don't know how to promote a parameter, you can look at that on our YouTube. It's about a 3 or 5 minute tutorial. Quite easy. This is how we associate all of these families through these codes. Now, what I'm going to be doing is bringing in this Excel sheet where I wrote all of these codes exactly as is, and I added my own pricing data. Now, we're not looking at length, we're not looking at volume, area, anything like that. We are just looking at a cost per element. So very, very simple estimation. If you want to get deeper into estimation, go look at our tutorial for Power Apps on our YouTube channel. It's a lot more in depth where you can add cost per element, per length, per area, per volume, or even per lump sum. And of course, we're happy to continue developing that with you if you have specific needs as one of our customers. So first thing is we're going to link this Excel as directly as a file the wrong way. I need to close Excel first. It doesn't like to look at open files. So let's go grab the file here as an Excel workbook. And we'll grab the only sheet we have available. This is exactly the data that we want. And we're going to actually just go and transform the data because I want to show you what's wrong with it. So this could be our new table. Generally, things look fine. However, when we look at this, let's look at where the file comes from. It's got my username in here. So guess what happens if anybody else tries to open that file? It's not going to find the file, right? Because this is only going to work on my computer. So we got to scrap this method right away and do it the proper way. So I'm going to delete that real quick. So what we're going to want to do instead is reopen our Excel file and go in here, and in the info section, we're going to copy the path. So not the local path that we just did, but the actual path here. And when we go get data, we're going to say web, and we're going to put in the URL. Now, it's very important. You have to delete at the end the question mark web equals 1. So it's just going to point at your Excel file from the SharePoint point of view. Okay, so we see these same elements, and we're going to bring in our sheet here. I'm going to say load. Now, notice how the name is sheet 1. So we're going to want to rename that right away after it's loaded. So let's go into our data here. And we're going to scroll to sheet 1 and say casework estimation. Okay, so what we need to do now is actually connect this new table to our data model so that it can have a relationship with it. So it's not just a bunch of tables, it's connected tables. So this is the table where I had already promoted the parameters earlier. So it's very simple. We're just going to drag code onto code because it's the same data. And we're going to set this to two-way. And now when we take this matrix and we drag the price in our values, well, first off, we see the count of price, right? So this is wrong. What we want to see is the sum. And there we go. So it's not adding up, right? It's just saying this piece of casework is $1,200, but it's not saying 5 times 1,200 is your total price. So this is the instruction I gave to ChatGPT to get a measure. I'm basically saying my data for the pricing is in this table, and this is the column. my counts are in this table and this is the column. So it's quite an easy format. In Power BI, when you reference and stuff, it's basically the table is between a single quote and the column is between these square brackets. So it's a very good standard to have if you're going to be talking about tables and columns from Power BI, Power Query. Just try to use that standard of classification of talking about it, and your peers will understand what you're saying and ChatGPT will understand what you're saying. So with that being said, I'm going to go into casework. Just click the casework estimation because this is where I want to put my measure. I'm going to create a new measure, and it's going to open the little window here and just paste the code that ChatGPT gave me. So I only need this once. Frankly, I don't want to learn DAX, so I just understand the data very well, and I can kind of reverse engineer it if there's an issue. Let's just drag our total price down here, and we'll see very quickly 5 times 1200 is 6,000, 1 times 100 is 100. The data seems to make sense. Okay, so we've linked through SharePoint, we've connected it to our data, and now we have the total price. There's a couple things with the format. Let's fix that real quick. So what we can do with the total price is make sure we get the display commas. All of a sudden they appear right here. This makes things a lot more legible. And what we're going to do also is give it some conditional formatting so that we can kind of see the big numbers and the small numbers real quick. All right. Now I'm going to do that for the sum price as well. And here we go. So we have this properly formatted. We're going through SharePoint instead of a local Excel file. This is it, folks. This is what I wanted to show you today. So I hope this was helpful. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.